Hey, what's up everyone that watched this video here for Wednesday, December 16th, showing you the SPY. We had the gap up yesterday and then the full day sell off, and then today a gap up and a slow steady climb most of the day. There it is on 5-minute candles. Pretty close to equaling yesterday's high now. So strong market. We've been talking about that for a while. A couple highlights from the day. This was my favorite trade in a while. We were watching this GLSI kind of covered up the top of that candle. The top of that candle was at 51.50. Some people in chat called this through 50, thinking that would be enough to get us over the high of day. And this is just an example, and you can't see the whole chart here, but this is that one that just like what was 160 bucks the other day. And so pulled in for a few days. And I knew this one had the potential to give it a real quick squeeze. And as a trader, that's what I like. I was in this thing 9 minutes, right? Got long 51.50. Scaled out like I always do. I don't want to give the impression that was my entire trade, but my best sell was 63.50, and just selling all the way up. It was a beautiful trade. Made a bunch of money in a very short period of time. That's why I watched the recent high flyers. I guess I can show you the daily real quick. It ended up closing barely above where I bought it, right? But I'm a day trader and I scale out into strength. But yeah, this is the one that made that move to almost 160 the other day, and I just kept watching it, and then today gave that really clean setup right there, right? Opening range breakout, and look at that. It did everything we wanted it to do, right? I mean, it would have been nicer if it went to 100, but either way, it was a nice little trade. Wayne called SOL. Actually, Kevin P put it on the radar, and Wayne passed it along. Love the teamwork in chat. Over 750. I think it was like 15 cents risk. It ended up going up almost $1 to 8.48. Took a little while to get going, but never stopped out. Really nice call there, and that was just looking for a follow-through day after yesterday's big day, right? And that's it. I think actually ABUS. I took a trade in this one early. I called this in the chat room over this opening 5-minute candle high over 511 because it was strong yesterday, and yesterday's high was not far above that, right? Yesterday's high was 523. So the thinking is, small gap up, sellers come in, and then when it takes out that early high, the thinking is we're going to push through yesterday's high and continue to squeeze. And that's exactly what happened. And this was a really nice way to start the day, by the way. Got long there through 511. I don't remember what my best sell was, probably somewhere around 560. So I left a little on the table, but really, really nice way to start the day there. So a lot of times, that's not on the highlight page or anything. A lot of times you have some really nice trades. They just never make the highlight page. The highlight page is filled with stuff that I think about later in the day or at the end of the day. I try to grab a couple highlights every day. So that's it. That's the deep thought that I put into it. It's like, hey, let me throw a couple up there from the day so I can go about my evening, right? All right, what are we watching for tomorrow? AI. Zoom in a little bit here. It's only been trading for what? 5 days? Opened at 100, had a huge move to 115, but then went out near its lows. And then the next day just absolutely ripped. And then the next day broke that day's high briefly before reversing. So all-time highs, meaning the high from the last 5 days, because that's as long as it's been trading, 133. Then we have a red day, another red day, and another red day. So this is 3 days down after hitting 133. Super interesting for a potential bounce tomorrow. LAZR. I don't love this because the news today was actually pretty bad. I think it was Mobileye is going into this space, and they were talking, and then Citron piled on, right? Talking about the stupid valuation of this thing even now. So that makes me a little bit nervous to even think about a bounce. But it's just fallen from 48. Today closed at 22.87. You guys in chat know what I'll be looking for tomorrow on a bounce play. So we may or may not play that one, right? SRAC, kind of the same scenario. Really strong stock. Down several days near the 20-day, goes on bounce watch. THCB, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to talk about snow at the end of this video if you're interested. It's one of my favorite setups, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what I generally look for on stuff like that. So just hang on. I'm almost done with the video. THCB falls into that same camp, a recent strong mover, 3 days down near the 20-day, kind of retesting this earlier high, retesting the breakout above that. So that's another interesting bounce play. RMG falls into that same camp. 3 days down into that kind of buy zone. YALA, see a theme here? Back into that buy zone, potential bounce play. Even through Airbnb on here. Airbnb, it's only been trading for 4 days. But it's fallen now, went to 165, and then just 4 days straight down. I would say you could argue a bit of a bottoming tail, but that doesn't mean that much to me because it had the same thing yesterday and then opened well below yesterday's close. So I'll just be looking for kind of an opening range breakout or one of the other setups that we talk about, and I'll show that to you when I talk about snow in a little bit here. POLA, very strong move today, but closing well off of its highs, decent volume. We'll see if it gets any kind of red to green or something like that tomorrow. GRWG, the pot stocks caught a bid again today, and this is one of the stronger pot stock charts. As a matter of fact, I think Tilray and APHA, I thought I read something after I got home from dinner. Collaboration or merger or something. Because I'm looking right now, Tilray is trading at 971 in after hours. So that might get all the pot stocks going. And APHA, I think, was the other one. It's trading at 869 in after hours. I think that was the other one. I could be wrong. Maybe it was ACB for all I know. Anyway, we'll be watching the pot stocks tomorrow. I've chosen to watch GRWG, which is really strong, even before that merger news. HJLI, this is weird looking because he had the reverse split, so I think it kind of jacked up my charts. But if I switch to 15 so we can kind of zoom in, this thing had that rip the other day from 8 to almost 18. Then it put a lower day and another lower day today. And after hours, they reported news, and it's trading at 12:30 in after hours. If I had any overnight hold in me at all, you guys know I don't even hold my wife overnight. I probably would have nibbled this in after hours around 12:30 to see if it catches a bid in the morning when pre-market traders find it. But I don't do that, so if it gaps up huge tomorrow, it'll gap up huge without me. Anyway, I'm going to watch that one tomorrow. It's kind of interesting. Riot, because Bitcoin's been really strong. Let's go back to the daily. Riot curling back up. If you look at Mara's already ripped through recent highs. So I chose Riot kind of as a laggard maybe, right? And, you know, that'll depend on Bitcoin, but Bitcoin's been pretty strong. RKT, I like a 2-day high here. So RKT is Rocket Mortgage. Had a big day yesterday, a little extra volume. If I go to kind of 15-minute candles, you can see that volume yesterday, and then today basically have a 2-day high. 2264 yesterday, 2263 today. I like it over the 2-day high tomorrow if that happens. You know, it seems to have maybe bottomed out, and it could be up from here. So possible trade in that. And then FUV, kind of a sleeper pick, but it's holding the 20-day. And on an intraday basis today, had some big volume spikes and went out at its highs. So I'm going to watch that one. The EV space, they all kind of seem to have maybe found some support. So it's worth watching all those. And I said I was going to talk about snow. I mentioned this in chat this morning. This is what it looked like before today, right? So I had it on Bounce Watch for the same reason that most of the beginning of this watch list at the beginning of this video, most of those stocks were on Bounce Watch for tomorrow, right? Well, snow was an example of that coming into today. So what did it do? It closed at 329.15, and I see it gapping way down in the pre-market. So I actually added it to my gap playlist. My gap playlist in the morning is usually gaps up, right? But every once in a while, I'll throw something gapping down, and it's generally going to be something I'm already watching for a bounce, and then I'm getting a lower open. So what do I look for is some kind of opening range breakout to the upside. Now, here's the sad part, and most people running a chat room would be smarter than me and wouldn't tell people what they did because this is super embarrassing. But I was watching it on a 2-minute basis, and it topped out at 308.98 on this first 2-minute candle. I called it long over the highs. I just said long over 309. Watch what it does. Let me get that out of there. So it's hard to tell, but it actually broke it here. My chart's a little messed up because I think it went to like 309.04 or something. Anyway, I took the trade, and then I just hit back out because it went back down. And I can't remember. I think I lost $80 on the trade. I took it small and just killed it almost immediately because I was looking for just a rip, right? And then look what happened. So it rips to new lows, and now look what happens. And it might have been here, by the way. It might have been here that it broke that. So it might have been, let's see, those are 2-minute candles. It might have been like in the 5th minute that I got long. I'm not sure. But anyway, I killed it and lost like 80-something bucks. And then look what it does. Comes down to 304. And then wait for it. It just goes nuts. Now, when you switch to 5-minute candles, so it did what I thought it would do. I thought it was a powerful setup, but I just took it too soon. And then I was trading something else and missed the actual big move. Now, a whole bunch of people in chat thanked me for this, but just to be fair, my actual call, and maybe if I go down to 1 minute candles, you'll be able to see. I didn't really want to make this video this long. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. So it must have been right there, and then it came back down and I hit out, right? I hit out before it even, before the bottom of this candle, because I thought, well, that didn't work. But again, when you switch to 5 minute candles, it's kind of clean, right? The early high, 309.38, goes all the way back down, and next thing you know, right back up. So now you've got, after 10 minutes of trading, the opening range breakout that never looks back. And I know Wayne took that second mouse through 309, and I mean, wow, went out at its highs. At one point, it hit 320. So a $20 move, and I actually managed to lose money on it because I took it too soon. But the moral of the story is not what a moron I am. That's not what I want you to take away from this. Most of you probably will, and I don't blame you. But the moral of the story is, when you have something on Bounce Watch, preferably a strong stock that's now down several days in a row. Actually, that's what it looked like, right? If you get that gap down, you should be sitting there looking for some kind of opening range breakout to the upside. And sometimes you get a complete gap fill in one day. I love the setup. It's what I'm going to be looking for in AI, LAZR, SRAC, THCB, RMG. I feel like I didn't talk about REPH. I think I skipped one. Anyway, and maybe I did. REPH, I feel like I skipped that though. The REPH had a big rip, then a gap up, red day, and another red day. So in case I've already said this one, which I don't think I have, but you know, I'm getting older, I'm getting kind of senile. Maybe I already talked about this. Anyway, this one is also on Bounce Watch. A little bit of a different stock, a different chart, because it had the rip, then the gap up, and a couple red days. But I'm looking for this one to maybe turn back up tomorrow too. Anyway, hopefully that gives you a brief understanding of one of my favorite setups, which I call a gap down bounce play setup. I'm done babbling. See you tomorrow.